The galactic slave markets of Terminus Station operated with brutal efficiency. Captain Rita Vance stood in shackles alongside 24 other humans, watching alien buyers inspect merchandise with clinical detachment. The Krolix Empire had raided Earth's outer colonies for 3 months now, and Rita's entire crew had been captured when their transport vessel suffered. Catastrophic engine failure near the contested border kept her expression neutral as a towering insectoid merchant clicked its mandibles at her. The translator chip embedded in her collar converted the sounds into cold assessment. This one shows military bearing. Combat trained. High value for arena work. Rita said nothing. Resistance only made things worse, thought the Krolix auctioneer. A reptilian creature named Voss activated the holographic display above each prisoner. Biometric data scrolled past, detailing age, health status, skills, and projected market value. Rita's display flickered with military service records the aliens had extracted from her neural implant. Lot 47, Voss announced. Human female. 32 solar cycles. Former military captain. Physical condition excellent. Opening bid at 12,000 credits. The bidding started immediately. Rita watched the numbers climb, feeling her stomach tighten. Whoever purchased her would determine whether she spent the rest of her life in combat pits, labor camps, or worse. A commotion erupted at the holding pen entrance. Guards dragged in a young woman who couldn't have been more than 20. She wore civilian clothes torn and stained from rough handling, and her dark hair hung in tangled clumps. But her eyes burned with defiant intelligence as she scanned the auction floor. Additional merchandise, one guard announced. Found her hiding in Cargo Bay 7. Voss chittered with annoyance. Process her quickly. We're behind schedule. They shackled the girl next to Rita. Up close, Rita could see the family resemblance immediately, though she'd never seen this woman before. Same sharp cheekbones, same determined jaw, same way of holding tension in her shoulders. I'm Emma Vance, the girl whispered urgently. Your daughter. Rita's blood went cold. That's impossible. My daughter died 20 years ago in the colony collapse. The records were wrong. I survived. Spent my whole life searching for you. Emma's words tumbled out rapid fire. Listen, I hacked their systems. They're selling you to the Blood Ring Consortium. You'll be dead within a year. Keep quiet, Rita hissed. You'll only make things worse. I can get us out of this. Emma's eyes darted to the guards, calculating distances and responses. But you need to trust me. Before Rita could respond, Voss called her lot number. The bidding resumed, numbers climbing higher. Rita recognized several buyers from intelligence briefings. The Blood Ring Consortium's representative raised its appendage, and the price jumped to 30,000 credits. 30,000 going once, Voss intoned. Emma suddenly screamed, a piercing wail that made every alien in the facility flinch. Wait, stop. Guards moved to silence her, but Emma spoke faster, her voice carrying across the auction floor with surprising authority. You're making a terrible mistake. That woman is defective. Rita stared at her in shock. Voss tilted its head, translator working overtime. Explain yourself, human. Emma gestured at Rita with her shackled hands. She's got a degenerative neural condition. Her combat reflexes are deteriorating. Within 6 months, she'd be useless for arena work. I've seen her medical files. Lying won't help either of you? Voss replied coldly. I'm not lying. Check her deep tissue scans. There's scarring on her cerebral cortex from repeated neural weapon exposure. It's progressive. Fatal, even. Rita wanted to strangle her. What kind of escape plan involved destroying her market value and potentially getting them both killed? But Emma wasn't finished. She squared her shoulders and met Voss's compound eyes directly. Take my mom instead? She's fully trained for human needs. The auction floor went silent. Even the guards stopped moving. What did you say? Voss asked slowly. Emma took a breath. My mother. She's 63 years old, healthy, and spent 40 years as a professional human culture consultant. She knows everything about Earth customs, psychology, dietary requirements, medical care, you name it. The Krolix Empire is expanding into human territories, right? You need experts who can manage human populations without constant rebellions and productivity losses. Rita felt her heart hammering. This was insane. Voss's scales rippled with interest. Continue. Most slave races rebel because their masters don't understand basic biology and psychology. You feed humans wrong, work them on wrong schedules, punish behaviors you don't understand. It costs you millions in damaged merchandise and lost productivity. My mother literally wrote training manuals on human resource management. She's worth 100 combat slaves. And where is this miracle consultant? Voss asked, skepticism dripping from every word. Station detention level 3, cell 42. Name's Margaret Vance. She was traveling with me when you grabbed our ship. Check your intake records. Voss gestured, and one of the guards manipulated a datapad. Moments later, the guard nodded confirmation. There is a Margaret Vance in detention. Age 63. Records show extensive civilian credentials in xenocultural consulting. The auction floor buzzed with alien conversation. Rita could see the calculation happening behind Voss's eyes. Combat slaves were common. True experts on managing newly conquered populations were rare and valuable. This is irregular, Voss said finally, but potentially profitable. Bring the older human here. We'll verify these claims. 20 minutes later, they dragged an older woman onto the platform. She had Rita's eyes and Emma's determined expression, though her hair had gone silver, and her face showed decades of hard living. She moved with surprising grace, despite the shackles. Taking in the situation with quick intelligence, Margaret's gaze locked onto Rita, and something passed between them. Recognition, understanding, a lifetime of questions answered in a single look. Mom? Rita breathed. Margaret smiled sadly. Hello, Rita. It's been a long time. Voss interrupted their reunion. You claim expertise in human resource management. Prove it. Margaret straightened. Ask me anything. For the next hour, Voss and 3 other major buyers interrogated Margaret. She answered every question with professional competence, explaining human nutritional requirements, optimal work schedules, psychological triggers, medical vulnerabilities, and cultural taboos. She detailed exactly how the Krolix Empire could maximize productivity from human labor while minimizing costly rebellions and health problems. Rita watched in growing horror and admiration. Her mother was helping aliens enslave humanity more efficiently, but Emma caught her eye and winked. The buyers conferred. Finally, Voss returned to the platform. The older human's knowledge is indeed valuable. We'll purchase her for specialized consultant work. However, this doesn't explain why we should release the combat-trained human. She still holds significant value. Emma smiled. Because I'm about to tell you something that will save the Krolix Empire approximately 4 billion credits in the next fiscal cycle alone. That got everyone's attention. Go on. Voss said carefully. Emma leaned forward, voice dropping to conspiratorial tones. Your entire human processing system is backwards. You're capturing the wrong people, feeding them wrong, housing them wrong, and creating resistance fighters instead of productive workers. My grandmother can redesign your entire system, but only if you release my mother as proof of good faith. That's extortion. That's business. Emma's smile never wavered. You can have one mediocre combat slave worth 30,000 credits, or you can have a consulting contract worth billions. Your choice. The silence stretched. Rita could see Voss calculating, weighing options, considering angles. If we agree, Voss said slowly, what guarantee do we have that your grandmother will cooperate? She'll cooperate because I'll remain as collateral. You release my mother, keep me, and my grandmother works with your administration to rebuild the system. If she fails or tries to escape, you still have me to sell. If she succeeds, you profit massively and can ransom me back to the human government for additional value. Rita wanted to scream. Emma was selling herself into slavery to free her mother, but Margaret spoke up, voice calm and professional. My granddaughter's terms are acceptable. I'll need full access to your administrative databases and authority to implement system-wide reforms. In exchange, you'll see measurable productivity increases within 3 months. Voss considered this. The other buyers watched with predatory interest, clearly calculating their own angles. Acceptable, Voss said finally. The older human is purchased for consultant work. The younger human remains as collateral. The combat-trained human is released as gesture of good faith. Guards moved forward to remove Rita's shackles. She stood frozen, unable to process what had just happened. Emma grabbed her arm as the guards released her. Go, she whispered urgently. Find the resistance. Tell them we've got someone inside their system. This is just the beginning. Rita understood then. This wasn't surrender. This was infiltration. Margaret placed a hand on Rita's shoulder. Your daughter found me 5 years ago. We've been planning this since we learned about the Krolix raids. The resistance needs you free, Rita. Make it count. They pushed Rita toward the exit. If you enjoyed this video, consider supporting us with super thanks. Your support helps us create.